2 simple words. That's all it takes to shift the dynamic, to make her attention naturally gravitate toward you. And once you understand why, you'll never approach connection the same way again. Here's something most men were never told. If you've put in real effort and still watched a promising connection quietly fall apart, that failure wasn't about you. It was about missing a piece of psychology that almost nobody explains clearly. Women carry an extraordinarily refined social awareness built deep into their nervous system. Micro-expressions, shifts in vocal tone, the weight of a pause, all of it gets processed almost before conscious thought kicks in. It's not something she decides to notice. It just happens. The problem for most men is that they're running on scripts. They manage their image, rehearse their responses, and carefully control how they come across. But here's the catch. That kind of performance registers in a woman's nervous system as something slightly off. Not alarming, just subtly inauthentic. What actually moves the needle is something different entirely. It's called emotional congruence, the rare quality of being so genuinely yourself that your words and your inner state are saying the exact same thing at the exact same time. That's when real attraction begins. So what are these 2 words? The first one is interesting. Not as a throwaway compliment, not as a filler phrase, but as a true expression of presence. Imagine she says something you disagree with, or shares an opinion that catches you off guard. Watch how most men respond. They either fold immediately to keep things smooth, or they redirect the conversation back to themselves. Both moves come from the same place, insecurity. A man who is truly grounded does something else entirely. He holds her gaze, lets a genuine beat of curiosity land on his face, and says, "That's interesting, tell me more about that." What makes that response so quietly powerful is what it communicates beneath the surface, all at once. It tells her you aren't unsettled by the way she thinks. It shows you have your own center and can hold 2 different perspectives in the same space without needing to collapse one of them. And it proves you are actually here, actually listening, not waiting for your turn to speak. Studies on human connection consistently find that curiosity is one of the most powerful forces that draws people together. When a woman genuinely feels interesting to a man, not because he's performing interest, but because he actually has it, her brain releases dopamine and oxytocin. She starts to associate being around you with the feeling of being truly seen. Most men spend their energy trying to seem impressive. The man who actually creates attraction chooses instead to be genuinely interested. Now, the second word might surprise you. It's no. Not delivered with coldness or aggression, just spoken with calm, quiet clarity and without a trace of hesitation. Think about how uncommon that actually is. When men feel attracted to someone, a familiar pattern kicks in. They agree with everything, rearrange their plans, soften their opinions, and slowly chip away at their own values just to hold on to approval. And here's what that behavior actually produces. Not attraction, but the quiet erosion of it. A woman's attraction instincts are tuned to detect men with a stable, coherent sense of self. When you say no with ease, whether it's declining something unreasonable or simply standing by a different view, you send a signal that almost no one else sends. You don't need her validation to feel okay about yourself. Psychologists call this non-reactive confidence, and it sits at the very core of genuine masculine presence. There's a man worth knowing named Marcus. No extraordinary wealth, no striking physical build, just a settled, quiet certainty in who he was. A younger friend once asked him directly, "How do you draw people in so naturally?" Marcus thought for a moment and said he stopped trying to look good and started paying genuine attention. One weekend, a woman he was dating called him last minute and asked him to drop everything he'd already planned for a spontaneous trip she'd put together. Marcus didn't flinch. He told her calmly, "This weekend doesn't work. I've had plans locked in for a month. Let's put something together for next week." She pushed. He smiled, stayed exactly where he was, and said it again without adding a single extra word. What happened next wasn't frustration, it was respect. The kind that actually deepens attraction rather than threatening it. A man who can say no, especially when yes would cost him nothing in the moment, is a man a woman can actually trust. These two words, interesting and no, have nothing to do with playing games or running strategies. They are the outward expression of an inward state. Interesting signals that you are secure enough to be genuinely curious about someone else's world. No signals that you are secure enough to hold a boundary without needing to defend it endlessly. Together, they produce the quality women describe again and again as the most magnetic thing a man can have: authenticity. You don't have to wait to build this. Start in your very next conversation. Let real curiosity lead. Ask something you actually want to know the answer to. And when an opportunity comes up to say no to something, a favor you don't want to do, a plan that doesn't work for you, say it simply, without the paragraph of justifications that follows it. Boundaries aren't walls that keep people out. They're the quiet architecture of self-respect, and people feel that. If this shifted something in how you see the way connection actually works, share it with someone who needs to hear it.